Should be a fun way to spend the Monday afternoon, I think. We'll work with whatever we get. Maybe some potatoes would be good, you know, represent Ireland. Kind of in the middle of redoing all of our prep because we're running out of a lot of things that we did prep.
Everybody Eats is an organisation combating food waste, food poverty and social isolation. 3 nights a week, Everybody Eats offers a 3-course meal from LTD in Wellington, using donated food that would be going to landfill, all for a core donation. Food donations are collected first thing in the morning before head chef Al Robbins creates a menu for that night with help from volunteers. This year for the Wellington on a Plate festival, Everybody Eats is welcoming 5 next-generation chefs from around the capital. Each week, one chef will create a menu from donated food they get on the day, before a panel of judges crown a winner at the end of the festival.
I'm Conor McDonald, I'm the sous chef here at Atlas. I've been travelling around the world a lot, so I've been here in New Zealand for coming up on 3 years at Atlas. Been at Atlas the whole time. I've been in Wellington. Before that I was in Vancouver in Canada for about 2 years. Before that spent some time in Dublin where I'm from. Before that a little bit of time in New York. Wellington definitely punches above its weight in terms of food, like it's a small city, but there's definitely a lot of great restaurants and cafes. Coffee scene is great, restaurant scene is great. There's a nice sort of smaller community vibe to it as well. Like most people kind of know of or know each other.
Head judge and fellow Wellington chef Max Gordy is the mastermind behind the competition, having previously worked for Everybody Eats.
He was actually working in here a few times, helping us out before his venue opened, so I had worked with him a few times and I was happy to help. It just sounded like a fun concept and a good, even if I didn't, you know, it's a great cause. It's hard to turn that down, you know, raising awareness and raising money for a good cause, and should be a fun way to spend the Monday afternoon, I think.
So what is Conor most excited for?
Just to see what food we get and see what we can do with it. Yeah, I've got a few people from here coming in to help me, so we should be in it together.
And what about most nervous for?
It's a little bit nerve-wracking not knowing what sort of ingredients we're going to get or how it's going to go exactly. We'll work with whatever we get. Maybe some potatoes would be good, you know, represent Ireland.
As for what he can bring to Everybody Eats, Conor hopes to bring a fine dining experience to those who may never get the chance.
It's kind of a bigger scale and more difficult, maybe ingredients and stuff to work with, but yeah, hopefully we can get some fine dining techniques implemented into Everybody Eats. We do like a 7-course tasting menu here, so it's a bit of a different style of dining, but yeah, again, we can maybe draw some influences from it and yeah, see how that goes.
And what does the phrase "everybody eats" mean to Conor?
A sense of community, yeah, people being brought together through food. I know that it's people who can't afford to eat and can't eating together, and the people who can't afford to pay kind of subsidize the other people, so it's great. I mean, there's waste food there and there's people who are hungry, so it's great that they're putting it together and making meals for people.
Everybody Eats restaurant manager Jack Rainey says it was important the 5 selected chefs understood the missions and kaupapa as they entered the kitchen.
Having guest chefs in helps create awareness of our kaupapa here, which I think is always really important. Continue to spread the word, to continue to keep that awareness out there and available to, and just aware to everybody, which is really important. Even if you're not coming here for dinner, just thinking twice about what you're throwing in the bin is really important at home and at other restaurants.
All of the chefs have the same main course protein, oyster cut lamb shoulder. As for the rest of the ingredients, that will be down to the day's donations. Following the first guest spot last week, an even larger amount of food is at Conor's disposal. Oranges, beetroot, carrot, onions, turnips, kumara, apples, curry leaves, ginger, pears, plantain, as well as fresh herbs and the Irish icon potatoes. Now that he's seen the ingredients, how is Conor feeling?
Nervous at the moment, yeah. Yeah, excited to see how it's going to go. Just getting all the volunteers in, dividing up jobs, getting ready, trying to figure it all out. Hoping for the best at this point. The stuff I was hoping for, last night I did a little plan, well, like maybe 3 options for each course. kind of guessing what we would get, and some of them came, so that's very good. I was hoping for potatoes, I told you last time we talked, so we got lots of potatoes. That's great.
So what will his fine dining menu look like?
For a starter, we're going to do a little salad, kind of like root vegetable salad with a herbed whipped cream cheese, candied nuts and seeds, and a dressing made from brown sugar and reduced orange juice, oil and ginger. The main course is going to be kind of smashed potatoes with herbs. There's going to be some caramelized roasted carrots. For people who eat meat, we're going to have braised lamb. People who don't eat meat, it's going to be falafel. Going to have probably a jus of some sort over the top of that, and some fried curry leaves, I think, depending on how those turn out. We'll see. And then dessert, it's going to be basically an apple crumble, so an oat-based crumble, roasted apple and pear. I'm going to do a burnt apple puree, and again cream cheese, but sweet version rather than a herb version.
As Conor's team of volunteers arrive for prep shift, he briefs them on the menu. A big part of Everybody Eats is feeding anyone and everyone, no matter their circumstance.
We've got a lot of people that are struggling with addiction that come up for dinner. You do have to be a bit careful. You don't want to bring anyone into the restaurant space that might be a bit intoxicated or a bit high, so you do have to set some quite firm boundaries at the door. But we would never send anyone away without food, so we do continue to offer takeaways.
Midday, prep begins. A fresh group of volunteers arrive after the prep shift for front of house and kitchen service. As the doors open, the judges are among the first to arrive. An hour into service, it's clear tonight is much busier than last week, the restaurant turning over twice its capacity in that time. So how's our head chef feeling?
Feeling pretty good. We're kind of in the middle of redoing all of our prep because we're running out of a lot of things that we did prep. The feedback that I've heard is good, so people seem to be happy. People seem to be full, so that's the main thing.
Many who come to dine come for the sense of community. Donna lives alone and has been dining at Everybody Eats for around 10 months.
I find it lovely. It's like having another family to sit down to at tea time. Nice to eat a meal with other people, you know, because you live alone and you don't want to be cooking one potato and then getting up and doing a few dishes. Good on the budget, being on the benefit, it's good on the budget, yeah.
She says it's become quite an event for the community.
You hear everybody over town saying, oh, you're going to go to Everybody Eats tonight? You're going to Everybody Eats tonight? You know, yeah. It's really well known now throughout the community, yeah.
Service winds down after the kitchen sells out of majority of the main course, just before 8 p.m. Let's check in with our head judge.
Really good. It was really comforting. Like, we're in the middle of winter, so we're getting like beetroots, apples, carrots, nice braised lamb. So it was just really hearty flavors, but they were presented in a way that was really elevated, but still kind of reminds you of like humble beginnings in home. It was really cool how we used cream cheese, like it was in the starter of the course, and at the dessert as well, like little bookends, which I thought was really clever. Most chefs would shy away from using the same ingredient twice, but in this instant he made them shine. And you know, at Everybody Eats, sometimes you get gifted like a lot of something, so you got to figure out ways to use a lot of something, which is really cool.
How does Max think this week compares to last?
We did come a bit earlier this week, so I guess it's a little bit of a different buzz, but sitting around people, it's just still a good vibe. I remember last week I popped into the kitchen after we chatted, and it was really cool to see Max just buzzing about actually getting here and seeing what Everybody Eats is about. It's just more about like connecting with volunteers and teaching people different ways of preparing stuff.
And how does our head chef feel it went?
Pretty well, considering how busy it was and how prepared we were at the start. Yeah, everyone definitely tried their best. I think we fed a lot of people, so yeah, I think it went well. You know, it's about what I was expecting, maybe harder. If we hadn't run out of the prep, it would have been fine, but that kind of made it a little bit tougher.
As for a standout moment?
Hearing that people are enjoying the food, apparently people are licking the plates, some of them. So hopefully that's shared by most of the people who ate.
Next time, Rita chef Calivia Russell joins the Everybody Eats volunteers for another night of combating food waste, food poverty and social isolation.